Okay, welcome everyone to the LIHWAP Leadership Development Initiative information webinar. In this webinar, we hope to provide you with information about the LIHWAP Leadership Development Initiative, what it entails, how to become a part of it, and what you will expect to receive as part of being a member of this leadership initiative. My name is Lawrence Heiner. I am the Director of Training and Technical Services for, or Technical Assistance for CalCAPA. CalCAPA is a member-based agency, and we support the 60-plus CSBG eligible entities in California with training and technical service or technical assistance. We also hold contracts besides CSBG with CSD for the LIHWAP program to provide training and technical assistance. And this effort is part of that contract. CalCAPA also has Gallup certified staff, namely me, and that is important as part of this leadership initiative. CalCAPA was tasked early on with developing a development plan in general for LIHWAP grantees. Our goal here with CSD was to identify areas of development in some or all of the agencies that were participating in the LIHWAP grant, in the federal LIHWAP grant. So in that development plan, we broke down our findings into 5 different areas and reported this out late last year. So those 5 areas included coaching, mentoring, and leadership development. Another area, and in this program, we'll be meeting some of the needs in that coaching, mentoring, and leadership development category. We also found needs for funding and grant management support. So we've got another program coming online very soon for that. We looked at developing areas of program development, implementation, and evaluation, also into strategic planning and service delivery and team development. That final piece is also in development right now. So a lot of these pieces of support are going to be provided by CalCAPA in the very near future, or are rolling out as we speak, like this program. So a little bit more about specifically the Leadership Development Initiative. In this initiative, we highlight 5 different areas that we hope to improve skills development for people who are participating in the initiative. So in the first area, we hope to develop a unique professional identity. In that, helping to identify and to speak to your leadership style and how that moves programs and projects forward with a team. Second area is to conduct honest, difficult, and compassionate conversations with team members while upholding their dignity. And we hope to do this through engagement in direct conversations and knowing your staff and how to effectively communicate with those folks on their terms. Third area is to identify potential leaders within the network. So as you are going through developing yourself as a leader, that is part of that, is that you are identifying additional leaders. So think about the idea of part of your role as a manager or as a supervisor is to kind of develop your replacement. That's what we are looking at doing here, identifying leaders as you work with teams. Fourth area is to implement best delivery practices, even when we're all distant from one another. So as part of this program, we are pulling together leaders from different agencies and looking at delivery practices for LIHWAP across agencies. Our goal with this program is not just to impart soft skills. We are using this project as a very real sandbox to demonstrate leadership capacity. And when we're delivering, or when we're identifying practices that work well, we want to be able to provide a safe space for leaders to share how it is that they're imparting that with their teams. And then the last area that we'll look at is developing skills in a hands-off approach. So how do you identify the strengths within your team and delegate accordingly? Okay. So that's the general scope of what we're looking at. This is a pretty open leadership development program in the sense that we'll be working with the skills that you already have, the talents that you already have, and honing them, working with this program to help enhance existing leadership capacity with some new ideas, and then to work with peers that are like-minded in that endeavor. So a core part of our leadership development initiative centers around the self-assessment tools offered from Gallup around strengths. So if you've taken Gallup's Strengths Finder, if you know your top 5, great. You are a couple of steps into the game, and we will be using that kind of terminology. For those that have not, this is going to be an opportunity to learn about your individual strengths. We're going well beyond the top 5 in this program. Gallup, when they do a Strengths Finder assessment, are assessing 34 different talent categories, and you'll get to understand all of them as part of this program. So the reporting tool that we leverage in here does provide that full 34 report. In addition, we use that same information to take a look at your leadership talents. So just as we can take a look at general talents that work with you all through your career and life, and that will be part of this program, we'll take a look at how your top 10 talents directly lead to your individual leadership style, and can start to illustrate some of the tendencies that you have as a leader, so you can lean into the natural talents that you already possess. Okay, so that's a very big power of this particular initiative, is that we are going to lean into strengths as leaders, and you will have an opportunity to participate in a peer setting to explore those strengths. If your organization is doing other strengths work with our group, with CalCAPA or any other strengths organization, know that this would be 100% compatible with those other strengths-based programs. Same language, same tools. Okay, I will be your facilitator for this program. As I mentioned, I'm the Director of Training and Technical Assistance for CalCAPA. I'm a Gallup certified strengths coach, and I'm also experienced in pulling together leadership programs. I've done that on a consulting basis. In private practice, I've also done that with Fortune 50 communications companies, Fortune 10. So I know my way around a leadership development program. What we'll be looking at is how we can leverage leadership development to not only enhance our capabilities within the LIHWAP program, but extend that even outside of LIHWAP. So taking advantage of a single grant opportunity and development opportunity, and expand that beyond, where it makes sense to do that. We don't want our training and technical assistance to exist in a vacuum. Besides meeting the goals of this grant, we would hope that we're, in general, enhancing the capacity, leadership capacity of your agency. So not just from yourself, but also looking into development deeper into your organization. Okay, so some nuts and bolts for this process. We're moving pretty aggressively because we want to show some progress within the LIHWAP grant. However, it doesn't mean that we need to sacrifice anything. Really, what we're doing is accelerating, pulling groups together, and then we'll identify our best meeting times based on the group's schedule and ability to meet. Okay, so a couple of simple steps here. First thing is to make sure that you enroll at calcapa.org/LLDI. I'm going to have that link all over the place in this presentation. You'll get a copy of this, but that's a landing page that you can enroll in the program. And it also has some of the information that we are going over during this call. And we would like for you to sign up as quickly as you can, because we would like to have these strengths assessments issued and completed by May 31st. So when you enroll, that will indicate to CalCAPA that you want to be part of the program. After we verify that you're part of the LIHWAP grant and that we're officially able to assist and pay for this under the grant, then we'll send you out an assessment to complete your strengths assessment. That assessment takes about 45 minutes. So just to give you some context of time, it's no short assessment. It's pretty comprehensive. So you want to give yourself, the better part of an hour to sit down with your thoughts and complete that assessment. And then once it's complete, you'll get the results right away. So will I, and then we'll be able to form some groups. So we are looking to establish cohorts based on results from the assessments, and we'll sort that out. In the event that we only have enough leaders participating, that we only get one cohort, then we'll divide up some of the groups during some of the sessions if necessary to have meaningful conversations based on folks' leadership styles. The ideal would be that we have enough participants, and this could be several groups, and that's okay, that we would have enough for groups of somewhere between 4 and 8 folks that have similar leadership styles that we would pull together into cohorts and then run the meetings that way. So on June 2nd, ideally, we'll be announcing the cohorts based on that criteria. It's a simple setup, but it hopefully will give us slightly more meaningful conversations when we come together. Okay. The idea is to meet 3 times. Each session builds on the last. Okay. So session 1, we'll do right away in June, first part of June, probably in the first week or 2 of June, full week or 2 of June. And we'll be talking talents. So in this case, we'll be looking into strengths, identifying what the strengths are, what they mean to leadership. And when I say strengths, I also mean talents. So we'll learn how talents turn into strengths and what that means when we're leading a team. In session 2, we will talk about what we are trying to work on out of session 1. So at the end of session 1, we'll put together a simple action plan based on what we learn. And in session 2, we'll touch in, see how we are working on that action plan. But then we're going to accelerate that a little bit, start talking about productive conflict. Okay, so as we start to engage our teams and develop additional trust with them, recognizing strengths, that starts to open up more conversations. So we'll learn what it takes to take conflict and turn it productive on our teams and encourage more ideas to be generated and passed around on teams. And we'll update our action planning, take another month. And then when we come back on our 3rd and final session, we're going to look at developing leaders through engagement. Okay, so we're going to take the next step in the strengths journey and look at how our efforts as leaders engage our staffs and engage our agencies. And through that engagement, we're identifying and promoting leadership on our teams and into the next level. It gets very interesting, very exciting. Okay, so outside of those 3, if we really want to have more conversations, we can look at optional coaching sessions after that. If we feel like we've got a good vibe going and you would like some targeted assistance, we can extend that conversation. Okay. All right, so that's our general process for the LIHWAP Leadership Development Initiative. That's the scope of it. So again, when we look at the cohorts, each cohort would go through the sessions together. We would not look at breaking up the cohorts. The idea of having a cohort is that that small group would have something tying them together that would enhance the conversations that they're having during the sessions. Okay, but we've got a lot of flexibility with how that works out based on the people that are participating. Okay, the optional coaching sessions that I'm talking about, to give you some context, would be a half an hour with a strengths coach like me. Essentially, we would be looking into the way that your strengths are helping you to achieve the task that you're setting out. Very much action planning and having an accountability partner for the things that you set out to do based on the learning that you have during the strengths program. Okay. All right, I know that was relatively quick, and I covered a lot of high-level information. Does anybody have any questions of what the program is about, how to participate, any of the expectations that we have? You can feel free to come off mute and ask your question, or you can jot it in the chat.
Hey, Lawrence, it's Wilfredo. How are you?
Hey, Wilfredo, what can I answer for you?
Got a quick question for you. So this is it's based off of LIHWAP. What would differentiate this between, beside being maybe I'm just curious, a LIHEAP kind of training for leadership? What ties this to LIHWAP?
That's a good question. And really the only thing that's going to tie this directly to LIHWAP is that's the nature of the activities that we'll be working with during the course of the program. You could really probably plug any grant into this because leadership as a skill set, you can translate to pretty much any program. But the content that we'll be discussing and the nature that holds and ties this group together is that we'll be discussing the content of LIHWAP during the sessions. Okay, so hopefully it translates pretty easily into other programs. Does that answer your question? Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. No problem. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah, that first step is to go to this website. So the calcapa.org/LLDI. You'll see a form on that page, a simple registration form, and you would enter in each individual from your agency that you want to participate. We're suggesting up to 3 would be good. If you're the only person, that's okay from your agency. Totally fine. All right. If you do have any other additional questions, I'll leave my email in the chat here. It's lheiner@calcapa.org. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Okay. And then if you go to that website, same information that we had on the call here will be on the website. And then I'll post a copy of this recording at that same link, okay, for others. So you can direct them to this information. All right, everyone. I don't see any additional questions in the chat. So if there's nothing more, then thank you for joining. And hopefully we'll see you sign up for the initiative. We'll get you in a cohort. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.